Sacred geometry is talked about in the book of Genesis in the Bible. However, before the Bible was written in the chapter of Genesis, it was studied and introduced by the Egyptians. And the Egyptians introduced sacred geometry with the Eye of Horus. Hi, Phoenix family. So this topic is sacred geometry. And before I get started, I want to point out that there is no definitive answer to what sacred geometry is. And yet at the same time, there's a 500,000 answers to give to it, to explain it. There are people, and I mean hundreds of thousands of people, that have spent their entire lifetime studying and trying to understand sacred geometry without ever coming up with a definitive answer. So while I introduce it as sacred geometry and try to explain it the best that I can, please understand that there is no definitive answer to it. There will always be more that you can add to it, or that I can add to it, or that others can add to it. And all of the answers will still come together without a complete one answer. Okay? Sacred geometry. Whew, okay. So, sacred geometry is talked about in the book of Genesis in the Bible. However, before the Bible was written in the chapter of Genesis, it was studied and introduced by the Egyptians. And the Egyptians introduced sacred geometry with the Eye of Horus. Okay? Now, the first answer I want to try to give you to try to simplify it is the importance of the Eye of Horus. When one sees the Eye of Horus, especially those that follow in the Kemetic Egyptian path, they see it as a god. When they see the Eye of Horus, they see it with pride, something that should be worshipped. That Horus was a great god. So then, taking that little piece of knowledge, I want you to think about different symbols that you see related to religion that means power to you. Okay, so for many people that follow the Christian path, it's obviously the cross or even the fish, and for many pagans, the Celtic knot, even the pentacle. Oh gosh, there's so many. The various sigils, okay, that represent spell work, or the Theban alphabet, okay, that is used to write spell work or to write down recipes. The sacred geometry is about taking a blank slate that has nothing on it and then creating a piece of art that has no end, no beginning. It is subjective to the artists themselves. Okay, mandala art is a beautiful one to use as an example, and sacred grids are as well, because there is no one way to make a grid. No one way. You can have hundreds of crystals, and you can create so many different grids. Like the numbers are, I can't even put a number to it. It is so many. Okay. And the mandala art is the same way. It's about geometric shapes that are placed together, and taken into a circle or a diamond, and all these little geometric shapes put into it. And then you, as a person, that maybe you're feeling stressed, or maybe this is a hobby, so you begin to color in these geometric shapes. It is part of the mind, the optical illusion of these geometric shapes coming together and offering you some kind of peace, some kind of empowerment, some kind of strength, that it means something. A sacred geometric shape that I'm using, since we are the Phoenix family, is the Phoenix. This is a piece of art. See how it says "Angel My Loves." It's from Candace Leslie. She did this for me. Let me show you the picture again so you can talk about it. What we're looking at here is the power of the flames, the power of the bird itself. Rise of the phoenix, the power of the phoenix, that the phoenix overcomes all obstacles. And although the phoenix reaches a time in its life that it must burn, it must fade out, it always returns, and it always returns with so much more strength. But it is a geometric shape. We gave it a name, okay? We call it a phoenix, but it is a place of absence with nothing at all, and then we put the geometric pieces together to give it power, okay? An example I once read or saw, and I should say, in a class that I was taking myself, was imagine the universe as nothing. Imagine the universe as a giant black hole, and that lines begin to form. Okay, and they just kind of cross over each other and cross over each other. See if I can maybe make a picture of what I'm talking about here. So, I've used all those notes. So you have these lines that just kind of create nothing, but they continue. You don't have to stop. You can continue to make lines. You can make this one longer. You can make that one shorter. And that, as weird as it might look, is a geometric shape. If you look carefully, there's triangles in there. Look over here, it looks like an oval, okay? You look inside there, there's another triangle, there's another oval, and there are geometric shapes coming together. For me, in the moment, I was just scribbling them. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm putting power to it. I'm empowering this geometric shape. So, in this video, the geometric shapes were in the blank universe creating everything. For some people, they have expressed this universal building of lines to how they understand the creation of life, how they understand how the universe exploded with life, from the water, from the plants to the animals to the organisms to the people itself, and how even our bodies are considered sacred geometry, because what we can do with it, it doesn't matter how small or how big or how tall or how short, our body has a purpose because we have given it a purpose. We have taken this shape, this thing, and made something into it, and we have the option to give it that power. For some, especially those that do not follow in the Christian path, or those that are pagan like myself, take the mandala art, or take the understanding of the druid and the beginning and end and continued journey, because to a druid there is no beginning and no end. You have a soul, and you are born on this day, and maybe this day is when this body dies, but the soul continues on. The soul takes another sacred geometric shape in the life and birth of a new person, okay, or a new animal. So, sacred geometry, as simply as I can put it, is about creation. It's about putting something together that empowers, that the earth, the sun, the moon, the life, your very soul as a person, and how it increases everything. Okay? If you feel power and then you take this power and you make it bigger, you are taking a sacred geometric shape, such as this little ball of power, and you are increasing it, creating a different geometric shape, giving it more sacred power because now it has more power to it. It has more intensity. Sacred geometry is basically, as I can put it, is building, creating, and giving it power. Okay? Like I said, though, at the beginning of this video, there is no definitive answer to sacred geometry. There are people that have spent their entire lives studying and learning and trying to put all of this together, and there's always so much more that can be added to it. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions, or maybe you can think of something else that can be added into this discussion for sacred geometry, please comment below. I would truly appreciate it. Um, but that's about it. I mean, all I really can do is give you an introduction. So thank you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much for coming to watch the video. I love y'all. Mwah.